Okay, call the November Property and Rec meeting to order. Was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes, it was.
Okay, we'll have public participation as it comes. Roll call, let it show that all members are present. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion by Rocky, seconded by Mike. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved minutes of October 10th. Any additions or corrections? The minutes stand. Correspondence.
What's your thoughts?
What is it, just that one page?
No.
2 pages.
Oh, excuse me, Mike.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that's a document that I put together. I would just urge the other committee members to take a chance to read that prior to the community and community center changes come up on the agenda.
Okay, let's take a second and has everybody had a chance to read it? Okay, let's move on. Again, it says public participation again, but we'll just do that as needed. Project status report, Kyle.
Mr. Chair. Oh, it was not linked on there. It's normally the same active link. Let me get it thrown on there here. I'm sorry. All right, I got it linked on there now. But yeah, it should have been updated by the respective departments. A lot of stuff. It looks like Bill went through and updated with like the lighting at the fairgrounds, HVAC controls, the roof project, which we did make a payment to the contractor for that roof project. I think that payment's going to be going out this week. And there's some other projects going on with the parks, with the Bobcats. But if there's any other specific questions related to the ongoing projects at these departments.
Anybody got any questions on that? Okay, moving on, community center fee and policy changes. Linda, do you want to go through this?
However you want to do it, Jerry, is fine with me. We did submit the updated changes are
Okay.
attached. I will say that this all started with a meeting and insurance was brought up and the need for that. That went into the fees and who's charged, who isn't, and the 501c3s versus all the other nonprofits. And at the last meeting was
Okay.
voted to have everyone pay and the insurance requirement. I'd been contacted by several people. I believe Cynthia was, and I believe most, if not all of you, were contacted by people. There was another meeting held, and at that meeting, everything was revisited and looked over. The actual fees that would come in wouldn't be that much. So it was decided not to charge fees for any nonprofit. If they were an official nonprofit, they wouldn't be charged. But it was decided that the insurance would still be a requirement.
Okay, so question I have there is, as a nonprofit, do they have to show proof of 501(c)(3)
They'd have to show proof of their nonprofit status.
nonprofit
It
status?
wouldn't necessarily, in the past, it's been restricted to 501c3.
Okay,
That is not the case. Any official nonprofit would not have to pay a room fee. They would have to provide proof of their nonprofit status.
okay. I understand how complicated that can be because, as you know, you live in Springville and I take care of that town hall rental. And it's amazing how everybody seems to think they're nonprofit.
Right,
So
right.
we've
but-
handled it a little differently, but
Yeah.
we still have trouble with the same problem. So now, the way I read that, they would still have to prove or have proof of insurance.
Correct.
Okay, we all went through it last month, so those are basically the only changes from last month.
Correct.
Okay, any questions or correspondence? Josh?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just had a question for her. What type of insurance policy exactly are we looking at with this?
I'll let Linda answer that. I think it's a basic liability policy that just about anybody can get as a carrier to their regular insurance. And from what I've been led to believe, it's relatively inexpensive.
Oops. Yep, it is a general liability in the amount of $1 million, covering personal injury and property damage, with Adams County listed as additional insured. I will say, since this has started, we have received one already for 2024 from the Red Cross, from 4-H. There is a license plate group collection group that has met there at the community center twice, once a year in the last 2 years. And they just provide it automatically. It was never even required of them, but they provide it because a lot of places do require the insurance.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So who would be our proposed, or who would be the proposed carrier?
They would be responsible for their own insurance, whichever carrier they use.
I mean, who is going to be the provider, the insurance provider?
That's up to them,
So we have options. There's
Yes.
options.
right? The nonprofit organizations will have to get insurance through their own providers. Linda, go ahead.
Yes, the other part of that is private users. If, say I'm having a birthday party for my daughter there, I would need to have insurance and I can call my insurance company and you can get a rider on your policy that would cover that one day event.
Okay. Now, if there should be an issue, currently, there's not a policy in place. But it seems that there would be a liability if there is an issue without insurance to the county. Is that right?
That is my understanding,
Oh,
yes.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Any comments? Now, the reason we were able to bring this back is because I was one of the people that voted for the changes. And it has to be a person that voted yes on the winning side, I should say, that voted on the winning side of an issue to call for it to be brought back. So I brought it back for reconsideration. Bill?
Sure. So how did we vote on that?
It was voted 3-2 to pass it with the charges and the insurance in place. And I was one of the ones that voted to put the charge.
So now we have to pass it again with these changes or no fees?
That would be, well, so far I don't have a motion on it, but that would be the proposal, is to pass it with no fee. I understand the insurance requirement came down from Corp Council. They were the one that recommended that insurance requirement be in there. But the nonprofits would not have to pay a fee, and any government organization, right, Linda?
Correct. It would be basically private users, private businesses would still need to pay. But governmental organizations and not official nonprofits would not have to pay.
Josh?
Mr. Chair, my question's for Linda. So we have an amended proposal here for the insurance policy. Is that right?
Well, you could call it amended proposal. To me, it's a new proposal. I call it a new proposal because we have changed it. We've taken the charges out of it. And it's changed from the original policy because the original policy did not have insurance involved. So this policy is totally different. It will not have charges for nonprofits or government, but it will have the insurance clause.
Let's see. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Linda?
I'm sorry, one more thing I wanted to add to clarify for everyone. Nonprofits would still have to pay to use the kitchen, and that's always been the case. The kitchen fee is $35 for 1 to 4 hours or $60 for more than 4 hours.
All right. I believe Mary Ann or Jane would like to talk. Who's first? Well, use the mic, otherwise the people on Zoom can't hear you.
Haven't been in the room since I retired, so. All right, my name is Jane Grabowski, and I'm representing Adams County Home and Community Educators. Mr. Baker had a nice printout concerning one of the clubs that's at the northern end. And I just want to share a little bit. We are a 501c3. We are officially nonprofit recognized by the state. We don't have an issue with the insurance. What we were very concerned about was when we were going to be charged fees, our whole purpose is making the community better. We provide scholarships for high school and college students. We have probably our primary project that we work on is Wisconsin Bookworms. We read to 4K students. We've done it for 25 years. In that, over those 25 years, we've given away $81,500 some of books free. We've touched over 2,000 students. And each year, we have everyone that reads, their value in that program is over $8,000. So our whole purpose is to provide community service. So that's one of our projects. Another of our clubs, if you've been aware in the community center, is the Jam Fest. There they bring in country singers, bands, instrumentalists that play for senior citizens. And they do that, I believe it's six to 8 times per year. And from what they have told me, they've done it for 14 years. They usually have 30 to 40 people there. They do this in the community center. And so that, for them being an individual club, that would have cost them $600 to put that on. Plus they would have to provide insurance, that sort of thing. So that makes a difference. Our scholarships. I was just looking at the things that we have done and plan for the coming year. We meet at the community center almost every month, sometimes more than once a month. And so if we were having to have had to pay for every one of those meetings, plus put a deposit down, it would have cost us about $1,100 and plus the deposit. So that's things that we can't provide scholarships for, or we couldn't provide as much community support to maybe the 4K students, that sort of thing. So we appreciate the committee revisiting that and think it's to benefit everyone in the community that we can continue to provide the services that we do. We did investigate, and we have investigated what the cost for liability insurance will be. It's about $300. So that's something we're willing and realize it's a necessity to provide. So is there any questions you have of our organization or me? Yes, sir.
Josh?
Welcome back here. I was just wondering, can you please clarify that $300 fee, insurance fee? Is that an annual or monthly?
Annual fee
Okay.
for $1 million liability coverage.
Okay, thank you.
So anything else? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a couple questions. Number one, on this Jam Fest, will those people be charged for the facility? I mean, is it singers and that?
Well, they come in, they provide, from my understanding of it, is they come in and just provide an afternoon of entertainment. They sing and play. They're brought in at the behest of one of our county clubs.
Okay.
So
My question is,
would-
are they required to pay the fee?
I
or-
would think they would be under our umbrella policy. That
Yeah,
club would be.
Well, if they are,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm even fine if they aren't.
I think Linda has an answer for that. Linda's got her hand up.
Okay.
Regarding Jam Fest, it is hosted by HCE Club sponsors this. And they provide coffee and snacks. And yeah, as Jane said, they're a minimum of 30, sometimes there's over 60.
Yeah.
Here's really appreciated. There is no fee charge for that.
All right. All right. And then I just had one more question for Jane. Was that $300, so you haven't had to provide the insurance?
We have not had a liability insurance to this point.
Is that a burden for your group, the $300?
I think we can handle that. Well, our whole purpose is we raise funds through community events. We just had a Harvest Fest at the middle school. And our whole purpose is to find out where we can use it best in the community to make, that's part of our purpose, to make the community better. So Rome Homemakers up there have done a wonderful job, and they give a very good explanation. Thank you for putting that together. So,
Okay, thank you, Jane. Mary Ann, would you like to speak?
Like Jane, I haven't been back here for 10 years. I'm Mary Ann Bays from Town of Adams, and I'm also a 40-plus year member of the Home and Community Education Group. I just wanted to say a few of the things. One, when the community center was built, it was for the community. And as part of that, we did fundraisers and we bought the appliances for the extension office kitchen. We bought blinds for the extension office, things that the county at that time didn't have in their budget to buy. So we were able to do that for them. Right now, we've the last few years, we have sew days and we use the community center, and we've made walker bags for Villa Pines and Liberty Manor and some of the other assisted living. We've made adult bibs that we donate to these facilities for the seniors. Right now, we've got a project going that we're going to make 64 pillowcases and buy pajamas for the Head Start students and present those at Christmas time. So this is how we use the facility. And when we first heard about this proposal of charging, it was like all the money that we're putting out to buy fabric or different things, we weren't going to be able to do because there's only so much fundraisers that we can handle. And so we appreciate the change. We're willing to do the insurance, and we appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Any more discussion on that? Mike?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to congratulate these two women for being here and bringing up the way that they educate the community and what they do for the community, and just to reinforce that everything that they're providing basically is coming out of their pocket. The materials, the books, they have to work to get that money to be able to supply it for the scholarships, for the books, pajamas, mittens, and I could go on, I guess, but I would these programs have been going on for quite a long time, but with these 3 HCE groups, and there's never been an issue that I'm aware of as far as anything that they do having a liability issue or anything for the county. So I would just urge that my fellow committee members vote no on this. Thank you.
I want to, by voting no.
Voting no for the changes. Yeah, I don't want insurance.
Right, you don't want to even want the insurance or the fees. Okay.
Pardon? Are you making that as a motion?
I can, I certainly will. My motion would be to adopt the no fees for the 501c3 groups, but I would also make a motion that the insurance condition be waived as well.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to drop the insurance and the charges and everything, which would be going back to the original policy. Now, I don't. Jenny?
I just have a question. Are you just talking the insurance just for the nonprofit groups, but keep the insurance for personal groups?
I guess I could see for people that are coming there to host an anniversary party or birthday party or something like that, that the insurance would be a good thing for them to provide, but seeing that all the good that these HCE groups are doing for the community, I don't see that they should be forced to have to buy the insurance.
Well, I don't really want to argue that point, but I am going with corporate counsel. Corp counsel highly recommended that we stay with the insurance. And we're considering doing that even, like I've mentioned before, I do that at the town level, and we're gonna do the same thing, I think. There is a tremendous amount of liability with some of this stuff. Josh?
I guess my concern would be too, not having an insurance policy, not only creating a county liability by not having that, but it may make it less attractive for groups to come there. Do they have to provide some kind of policy if they're coming there for these events, or who would be liable if something would happen?
That's the problem. If there is no insurance policy, the county is liable.
Right. And that could go infinite. I mean, so, yeah, this is pennies on the dollar. It's really insignificant compared to the risk. I think we're creating an unnecessary risk not having a policy there. Thank you.
And the groups have stated that they're not afraid of the insurance. I would caution this motion, because if we vote on this motion and it fails, then the charges will stay in place. It'll go back to the previous motion or to the previous decision. And then the charges for using the rental will still stay in place, the way I see it.
Wasn't my motion to not charge fees for the use of the different rooms at the community center? But just then, that part is fine, but then I would just include the no charge for, or charging for the insurance. So I think if you vote against me, which I'm assuming is probably gonna happen, you'll still get what's been proposed now,
We would,
with a 4-1 vote.
well, we would have to have another motion
Okay,
to pass what's proposed now. Right, we have to vote on the motion on the floor first. I just want to make sure everybody understands what they're voting on. He can if he wants to.
If he wants to, yeah.
I'm not sure how you want me to amend it. I'm just saying that what's been drafted so far is the waiving of the fees, waiving of, the kitchen fee is still in place. Nonprofits and governmental organizations don't get charged. But I would just like to see the insurance fee not being, or having to provide the insurance waiver dropped. So you can vote on that motion and then go back to what's been currently proposed by Corp Counsel, or in conjunction with the people from the community center.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, we'll do a roll call vote.
Kilmer,
No.
Wimmer,
Yes.
Podolsky, Baker, and
And I'll vote no. So motion fails. Now, does anybody want to make another motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the changes as including the insurance.
Okay. And Josh, second by Josh. Any further discussion? We'll do another roll call vote.
Weimer,
Yes.
Podolsky,
Yes.
Baker, Gilner,
Yes.
Yes. So it unanimously passes. Don't laugh, Jenny. I have trouble with big words. Unanimously passes that the charges for nonprofit organizations will be dropped. They will still have to provide insurance. And if they want to use the kitchen, that will be a charge, which I wanted to mention to you, and I didn't realize that until today. I was at an event there yesterday and a person complained to me because they could not get in the kitchen. And obviously they had not paid to use the kitchen.
Nope.
So. Okay. Moving right along. Janny, I think, are you on this one or is this Kyle with the parcel 010, the one there in Easton? Okay,
Chair.
Kyle, you're up.
Yeah, no, we just put this on here as a status update on the sale. You can see the property sold for $4,300. It was a 0.27 acre lot. And I think a few years ago, when we were looking at all of the vacant lots owned by the county, we transferred the parking lot in the town of Easton across from the boat launch, right? We'd transferred that to the town of Easton and had asked Easton if they wanted this as well as part of that transfer. But they didn't want it. Well, we ended up selling it now for $4,300. So
Is that transaction complete then?
I believe Corporation Counsel was working on drafting the paperwork. But they sent a check for $4,330 to cover the transfer fee and all that for the register of deeds.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Maintenance report. Bill, got anything good for us?
Sure, Jerry. I do have an update on the Veterans Memorial. The concrete is ordered and being brought to the courthouse on Wednesday, and that wall will be finished at that point in time. As soon as the wall is finished, we'll get the excavator back here and we'll get that all leveled out, and that should look a little better out front. So besides that, I think everything else is in my report. I know they're coming back to finish the work at the fairgrounds on Thursday. They had a little more grading to do, but they were kind of waiting on us to okay the rock excavation and stuff they did out there, and for the clay and the stuff that they found when they were doing the initial dig for the pavement. You know, they had to remove some soils and stuff, which is, it's all in the contract. You know that, you know, you find something that you can't build over, you got to get it out of there and put something in there you can build over. So that got done, completed, the pavement's done. They're going to be here tomorrow morning bright and early to get on the roof. All the demo work is done for the roof side, and so they're going to start the actual tear off and replacement tomorrow. Any questions for me on the report?
No questions for Bill? Okay, let's go with the Parks Department. Who's first?
Good morning, committee. Our activities in the last month have kind of centered around Gary. All of our facilities winterized, blowing out all of our water lines, seasonal buildings. Following report, we have the ORP final review and resolution. The only other highlight I have is that Justin Pokesick was hired as the full-time assistant manager at Castle Rock Park. And I guess we were awarded a $6,700 county conservation aid grant to help with some beach stabilization at Castle Rock Park. That's all I have. Darren, did you have a few comments?
No, I have nothing additional to add other than what's on our report here, unless there's any questions.
Did you guys receive your new trucks?
Yeah, I think we received all the ones that were ordered this year.
So everything's good there.
Yep. And in fact, like it says there in that first opening one, that we're in the process of setting up selling 2 of the trucks.
Okay. That's it for them. If nobody's got any questions, we'll move on to the resolution for North Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission.
Mr. Chair, I was just wondering, I heard there was sale of 2 trucks. What did we get for those?
They're not currently, they're not quite listed yet on the Wisconsin surplus.
Oh, they
They'll sell-
haven't
They
sold.
haven't sold yet.
Oh, I misunderstood you.
Yep.
Okay,
Just
thank
getting it ready, just getting
Okay.
it going.
all right, thank you.
You bet.
Okay, resolution for North Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission 5-year outdoor recreation plan. That is a plan that we redo every 5 years. Time is up on it. We discussed it last month. Everybody had a chance to go through it. There was a few minor changes on it that they brought back this month. I hope everybody read it. Anybody got any comments? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. Go ahead, Bill.
So in this, report, it was indicated that there was, some need for splash pools in Adams County. And then, there was a contingency put in the parks for splash pools. And I said, well, where did that come from? And they said it came from the report. And I guess my problem is they're taking this report and they're already putting contingencies in for things that, first of all, we haven't even voted on. And I really have a problem with that. This whole contingency thing is people are slipping them in whenever they feel convenience and just want to run them by the county board like it's all okay. Contingencies, I don't think much of when you're putting in a budget. If it's specific to a time and place, that's one thing. But if just loading something up because some respondents said that there's a need for splash pools, I'm opposed to it.
It was in there under parks, and I agree about the contingency thing, but it was discussed in the county board budget meeting last week that nothing can be done unless it passes county board.
Yeah, I've seen that
And-
loaded gun before, Jerry.
Kyle has his hand up, so I'm gonna let Kyle handle this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to clarify that it's not contingency, with the funds set aside for the splash pad. It's actually, committed fund balances, which are committed by the Adams County Board for these particular projects. So it was committed in the budget. However, we didn't have a plan to spend any of the money in 5 years. It was just kind of an idea of what different park amenities we might potentially like to see in the future. We were, yes, basing it off of this outdoor recreation plan when that was put together for the budget. Just in anticipation of this going through. It's just really that's all it is in the committed fund for the capital funds. It's just 2 words on there. We don't have any plan in place to put splash pads out there at this point. So.
I have a question. Is there money in the budget? Is there money left over in the county parks to pay for that? Or are we gonna come back to the board and ask for additional funds?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
we're not paying for anything though. So
if it's not in the plan to build it
in the next 5 years.
in the next 5 years, then we don't have funding in place. Would that be the answer?
Well, we're funding amenities at the parks, and that would be like play structures, that type of stuff as well. So we're funding the amenities for eventual replacement or new structures in the case of the splash pads, but we don't have any plan in the next 5 years to do anything with that money that we're using to fund these amenities.
Doug?
So, Mr. Chair, so to answer your question, I mean, in our 24 budget, there is no money or plans to build a splash pad. This 5-year plan is kind of a, I guess it was added as a question in the survey. And that survey went out to the public for them to vote on. There was some people that responded that way, but like I said, in the budget, there is no money in the 24 budget to do this. But it's just something that's there. And this document does not guarantee anything. But if we ever wanted to apply for a number of items, it needs to be listed here. It helps us get grant funding. And no, I mean, all these projects have to get passed through, the committee and be in our budgets to move forward.
All right, so
Help answer your question.
it's something similar to what the state DOT does. They say, okay, we're gonna put a roundabout instead of an intersection in 10 years. And it never happens anyway, but they,
Exactly. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources also has their outdoor recreation plan and asked all the counties to develop their own also plans. So, and then also in this plan is municipal, local, other governments, city and villages and townships can put their projects in there, and they would use the same document to apply for grant funding.
okay. Well, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second by Mike. Now, is there any other discussion? We got the discussion ahead of the motions, but. Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I know. Ozdowski.
So we have, Mike, you voted. I voted aye. You voted aye. Okay. So it passes 3-2. Josh and Mike voting no.
Bill and Josh.
Or Bill, I'm sorry. Okay. Don't everybody leave. I have some flyers for you that were handed to me. Next meeting date. And any items for next month? December 11th, 2:00. Anybody have anything they want to put on the agenda? I declare the meeting adjourned. Whoops.